Welcome to the Sports Lounge Memorial Day edition. A cast of characters here. No Marcus Traxler, no David Schottenkirk. Drew, he'll tell us where they're at pretty soon. But I'm Travis Kriens.
Well, they're on their way. They're on their way to Charlotte, I think, where the Coca-Cola 600 is. What do you drive in it? Is that what you would say that they're doing? Yeah, they're driving in it.
They're backup drivers.
Don't know how they did in the Indy 500, but I'm guessing awfully not good at all.
No. But they're there, so we got some people to fill in, including Drew Almond for the first time on the chat. Charlie Hildebrand making the deals with the barbecue sauce people. Nathan Stacken, audio problems, but we'll figure it out. And Shane Koob, where are you at right now?
I am in Inver Grove Heights.
You're in the Minnesota Bureau of the Sports Lounge. We tried this once. We'll try this again. Memorial Day. We're about 50 games into the baseball season here. About a third of the way in. A good point to kind of look at who's good, who's bad, who's been surprising, who hasn't been any good. Is this a good stopping point for you to look back and say, hey, we kind of know now what these teams are?
I think you can get a slight indication. This is like the third year in a row where like the Oakland A's are really good, but people don't really acknowledge it very much. Good to see Anaheim not be terrible because they shouldn't be. The Marlins are kind of a surprise. I don't really see them hanging on.
How about the Rockies?
The Rockies?
Tulowitzki.
I think the Rockies are good. I think they'll maybe be around in that wild card spot.
I'm cheering for the Rockies because Mr. Morneau, Mr. Kadire are members of that roster.
I believe half of the 09 Twins are on the...
Not Kubel.
Not Kubel. LaTroy Hawkins, 49-year-old LaTroy Hawkins. Their closer for the time being. We'll see if he ends the year as the closer.
Is he the oldest player in baseball?
He's the oldest player.
Is Omar Vizquel still playing?
It depends if you mean the major leagues. I saw on Yahoo the other day that what's his name, the 51-year-old first baseman that played for the Braves like a decade ago, as a 40-year-old.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe I'm blanking on his. Yeah, Julio Franco is playing for some AA or AAA team.
He's like 55, playing for whoever the hell knows.
So obviously not the highest level, but he is old and he is playing baseball.
I think Jason Giambi might still be in the league.
I saw Omar Vizquel the other day. He's like some coach with Detroit, and I had no idea.
Player coach?
No. Coach. Just old man coach.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll get into the Twins now. Mr. Almond on page 5 or whatever the hell it was today. Sports. You kind of broke it down. These guys are good. These guys not very good. These guys maybe good. The good guys: Dozier, Casey Fiend, Phil Hughes. Stunned by Dozier's turnaround here. Pretty surprised by Phil Hughes his last month.
Performance-enhancing drugs.
Something about drugs we're not accepting.
Performance-enhancing. For Dozier.
No drugs involved here.
No.
And Casey Fiend, he's their best setup guy right now. Thoughts on those three? Because Dozier's probably an all-star right now, and Phil Hughes has had a terrific 5-6 start.
Well, I mean, for Dozier to go from a modest prospect to really kind of struggling the first season and a quarter of his career, then to turn into a pretty kind of semi-underrated player who had a decent season last year, to all of a sudden kind of putting himself in the discussion for some of the best second basemen in the American League. That's quite the plateau hopping journey that he's been on. He's been easily their best player. That's been unexpected, but I thought he was a good player, but for him to kind of, I mean, is he really going to be at the end of the year have 27 home runs and have a WAR of like 6 or 7? I mean, that seems hard to believe, but it's possible.
I like what he brings to the table on defense too. How about that move? I mean, moving him from shortstop over to the other side of the second base there seemed to really. I think that almost was the biggest boost for him. He had more time, knock down balls, and what have you. Yeah.
And I think I liked what I was hearing about Phil Hughes kind of in spring training, where really kind of seemed like he had a focus on changing his approach. His previous approach was not working. In Yankee Stadium, it's not good to not have like a good slider or anything like that. So kind of abandoned that. He's a much better control type guy than I thought he was going to be, and I kind of think he's going to be good all year. I can't really see him reverting back to kind of how he was last year at this point. I think he's going to be kind of a solid top of the rotation guy, at least for this season.
Yeah, I mean, before the season started, I was thinking that it was Nolasco going to be the one that was the more successful of the two. And right now, Hughes is he's locked in. I mean, his games, he's getting the ball and throwing it. And
well, before the year, it was like a few different schools of thought about these new guys coming in. It was Nolasco is going to be good. Phil Hughes could be good. He could also not be very good. But then there was this thing about Pelfrey. Well, another year removed from Tommy John. Like, he could throw it pretty hard sometimes last year, so he's going to put it all together. I never bought that for 1 second, and
Nope.
It was just a disaster.
Yep.
Mr. Kriens.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, how's this going so far?
I think we got it fixed. You went through the good guys? You went through the good guys?
We were talking about the good guys a little bit.
How about the bad guys?
Yeah, how about
Well, we did get into Mike Pelfrey.
Oh, I mean, this is like, yeah. I mean, Pelfrey, that's just a whole different. I mean, Kubel was good for maybe about 3 weeks, maybe, but how he plays defense in 1 inning anywhere is a grave mistake. And because of the Twins' complete calamity in the outfield, there he is, out and left, looking terrible.
Delman.
He's worse than Delman Young.
No. You think so?
He is really bad.
Well, okay, this is going way back to spring training. What goes into their thought process? Alex Presley, we'll ship him out. Not that he's any good, but he's a 4th outfielder. And we want Jason Bartlett, who's not an outfielder, who hasn't been any good for 3 or 4 years. We want to bring him back because we think he can do something. And it gets so bad that he's so embarrassed, he says, I'm going to retire rather than come back.
Yeah.
I mean, awful.
Comically bad, front office decision-making series right there, because you had Presley go, then also Bartlett's retirement forced them to end up getting rid of Darren Mastriani.
Yeah.
There were 2 guys who, weren't very good, but
They were
at least
serviceable.
there was some defensive ability, a little bit of speed at least, and then instead you have these sloths playing corner outfield spots with Kubel and Chris Parmalee and Chris Colabello. What the hell was he doing in right field?
Is Sam Fold on the DL? What's his deal? Did I miss that?
Still has the concussion thing, and I guess I don't. It's really kind of touch and go with when he comes back.
Yep.
Is there a team that has worse luck with concussions than this team, with Span and Maurer and Morneau and Hicks and Fold? I mean, concussions are a serious thing with this team. It's not a week thing. It's months before you recover from a concussion if you're a Twins player.
You could say Morneau never really got back until went to Colorado. I mean, every substantial offensive category took a big drop, and then did it really take 3 years for him to kind of find a groove again? I basically did.
God, the thing that sucks. Oh, go ahead, Charlie.
I was going to say, was it the marijuana in Colorado that helped get him back to normal?
Maybe.
I don't know if that helps concussions or not. I'm not going to make a guess either way.
I could see it, having
Maybe it
no
does.
medical knowledge of if that's accurate.
Chris Colabello, he had a hell of a month, leading the world in RBIs. That did not last very long. Arcia and Willingham coming up here in a few hours for Monday's game. Herman and Colabello, are those the two that you expect to be sent down?
For me, yeah. They could maybe take Santana, Danny Santana, or I mean, it's hard for them. Or maybe a reliever. I mean, would they maybe? I don't know how many options Michael Tonkin has left, but that's what I think it should be. I think it's good. I think that clears things out a little bit. I don't think Hicks should go down, mostly because if you keep Hicks around, that can at least give you a chance to, if you really want to have some defense in one lineup, you can have maybe Fold in center and Hicks and right. I mean, I don't know. I'm a guy who likes defense. I'm a defense kind of guy, and I'm really sick of seeing these Kubel and Colabello and Parmalee types who can't do one bit of a damn thing in the outfield. And as we know, Willingham and Arcia don't have very good defensive reputations.
I can deal with crappy defense as long as they're swinging the bat good, but that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, if Arcia and Willingham are going to actually hit the ball out of the park again, like they have been known to do, then I'm okay with it, because they need to score some runs again.
Nathan Stackney is going with the marijuana deal with Morneau. Eduardo Escobar. We gotta believe this is just a 2-3 week thing he's going through a phase where he's really good. This cannot last longer than a couple more weeks, can it?
He might be kind of an above average utility guy.
We're talking like 250 or what?
I mean, I don't know. He's got like 14 doubles. I mean, I think that's in like the top 12 maybe.
It's like 100 at bats.
Yeah, I mean, showing a lot of pop in close to a full-time role here in the past 2-3 weeks. So I don't know. He could ends up being their kind of infield utility guy for the next couple of years, and he would be a step up from kind of their previous guys in that role.
Aaron Hicks, me and Mr. Hammond have long been foes when it comes to Mr. Aaron Hicks. You like Aaron Hicks, along with David Schottenkirk, who also likes Aaron Hicks. I do not like Aaron Hicks. My thing is, everybody starts off with a clean slate. I don't know if you were any good in the minors, if you were bad, if you're a top prospect. I don't care. What do you do when I see you play with the Twins? Because I'm not watching the Red Wings. I'm not watching Beloit. I'm not watching Elizabethan. And he has not proven to me that he can do a damn thing. So,
Beloit's not their A affiliate anymore. I believe it's Cedar Rapids.
Well, it's always Beloit to me.
There'll always be Beloit in our hearts. Look, pretty soon it's going to be a point where it's, okay, Aaron, we need you to get 3 more hits a week if you want to be part of these plans. And if you can do that, does that sound like a lot to ask?
No.
It doesn't sound like a lot to ask, in my opinion. But if you can do that and get on base and kind of keep your walk numbers okay, then you can be here. But if he's going to be hitting 185 all year, well then no. And it's time for you to go down to AAA. Take your time. Really change your approach a little bit, work on it, and become a hitter. I keep waiting for him to be a hitter up here. That might not work. But I still think he'll be good.
I'm skeptical. I thought that throughout last year. Just, he's a rookie. We'll see what happens. Ooh, Escobar just got another hit. He just looks like a mess. He hasn't done a whole lot. All he's done is hit a bunch of homers in spring training last year, and he really hasn't done much since then. It comes down to how many chances you're going to give a guy, I think.
I would assume that he's getting the chances now because they don't have any more outfielders. So he's there for necessity, and rather than because he actually deserves to be there.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been nice if the injuries to Byron Buxton wouldn't have happened, and then maybe in August.
No.
They wouldn't have called. I don't think they would have called up Buxton this year, regardless of what happened.
Maybe whatever. Just a hypothetical, but
the whole June, early June. So the contract thing, you can hang on to him for an extra year. So if you don't play him for the 2 months of 1 year, you have an extra free agent year or arbitration year down the line, something like that.
There were a lot of projections that I saw before the year started that said if Buxton was on the starting day or opening day kind of roster, that he would have been like their 4th or 5th best player. This is despite not playing above AA. And being 19 years old. But yeah, I see what you mean with the whole service clock. That's really complicated. The Twins historically are very conservative as far as moving guys along.
Yes. I always thought,
All right.
Don't lose 90 games. That was my goal. Don't lose 90.
Don't lose 100.
No, don't lose 90. We've lost 90 the last couple. We've seen this. Don't lose 90 anymore.
Well, we were kind of on the same page when the year started. We kind of thought 6 wins better, which would have put them right in that 90 range. Now I think the question is, are they more like 10 or 11 games better, which would put them, 7, 8 games under 500. I don't know.
And they're not very consistent because the first month was all about the hitters. They were great, and the pitching was awful. And now the hitting's not as good, but the pitching's a little better, so it kind of evens out. And sometimes the pitching's really good, like last night, and they get 1 run, and they still lose. So really, you really don't know what to expect. You don't know if Kyle Gibson's going 3 innings or if he's going 7.
Yeah, they need more consistency out of Gibson. They need to draw walks. They need to keep drawing walks. Drawing walks is really good. It puts runners on base, and then it gives you an opportunity to get hits to drive in those runners. I know it's a novel concept, but they were doing that better than anybody for the first 6-7 weeks. But that's dropped off now.
They're like 2nd or 3rd behind Oakland and Boston, so that's gonna.
Yeah, they're still up there just because of how good they were the first 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about Danny Santana?
He should probably play more.
No, because You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Alexei Casilla.
Yeah, that's perfect comparison.
So, there's this huge campaign where people really like Danny Santana, and I'm just like, whoa, let's take it easy. He's fast, and he's, really like light-footed and all that, but Santana is not going to be some type of real solid difference maker. I would be shocked if that happened. But he's just a guy. He's fast. He's got a good arm, but he's still really raw. And so anyway,
and he's playing center field today.
I'm just saying, let's pump the brakes on Santana a little bit.
Nunez, what do you do with Nunez? Is he another guy
I don't think the Twins know what to do with Nunez. So
this team's got a bunch of guys they don't know what the hell to do with.
No, well they have
they're waiting for Sano and Buxton and Rosario and all these other guys to come up, and between now and next year they got all of these other guys that just aren't good enough. I totally agree. We really need Pelfrey the whole rest of the season in AAA. Keep him there, stick him there. You know what they did once? Before Glenn Perkins became good as a reliever, he was stuck in AAA, and he pitched a whole year there. This is after being in the majors for the better part of 3 years.
A couple of years, yeah.
So let's keep Pelfrey down. 4 good probably, and next time there's an injury or somebody goes on the DL or they decide we're done with Correa. All right, well then let's get Alex Meyer up. Let's not expect him to turn things around either or be some sensation. Let's expect him to go through some struggles the way that maybe Gibson did a little bit. Let's not call him a savior, but this is these are wise things that you should do.
When do you guys think we'll see Meyer?
Well, it was about late June when they brought Gibson up. So I would estimate maybe roughly around there.
I'm going to try something which seems like for the 5th time today and just talk about the rest of baseball unless this thing just shuts off again.
Yes.
Before it shut off for the first time, I was saying how my storyline so far this season is the American League, how everybody, basically besides Houston, they're still in the race. I mean, it's only 50 games, so it's not that big of a deal. But, I mean, when you look at the National League, you got Arizona's awful. You got the Cubs are awful. Pittsburgh, they come back to the pack after 2 really good years. Philadelphia, they're the same as they've been the last couple of years. But in the American League, I mean, the wild card race, that second wild card that I've not been a fan of, I guess I'll be a fan of it this year because my team may have a chance to be maybe like the Royals last year, finish around 500, and you can be 3-4 back, I guess, of that second wild card spot and give you something to root for.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Royals are 500 entering today, and they don't score. I mean, it's remarkable that you can in today's game that you can have you not have a single power hitter in your lineup. I don't think Billy Butler hasn't been that this year.
I was just gonna say Billy Butler.
I mean, it's crazy that you can be as poor of a power hitting team as the Royals and be 500. I mean, they're 5 games behind Detroit roughly. Same as the Twins, I guess.
You got good pitching goes a long way.
That's the thing. If you have a good starting rotation, which they've had so far, and they probably will all year, then it's going to be hard for you to be kind of a losing team. I mean, I don't know what to think about Boston and Tampa Bay. I mean, those are teams that a lot of. I mean, I had the Rays going to the World Series, so they need to get healthy. But nevertheless, because of how tightly packed things are, I mean, they're right in it.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's
and your
teams
Blue
that we
Jays.
know are for real.
your Blue Jays a year later. Look out.
Yeah, a year late with the Blue Jays thing. But if you got Burley, who's really underrated, by the way.
What, right now or as far as his career is concerned?
Career. Mark Burley is really underrated. 220 innings every year for a decade.
He's very consistent.
Very consistent, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying Mark Burley's a Hall of Famer. I'm saying pretty good. Dickey's been better. And so, and they can really hit the ball out of the park.
Drew Hutchinson, my guy, Drew Hutchinson, starter. I don't think they're good enough pitching wise. I mean, obviously they got the hitters. Pitching wise, I don't think they're good enough. With if Dickey and Burley's your top two, count me out. But Drew Hutchinson, good guy. But I don't think they have the pitching at the end.
Yeah,
Burley, not a Hall of Famer, but definitely a Hall of Famer in making baseball games go faster than they normally do.
Yeah. And really bless his heart for being that way. We need more Mark Burleys.
You can put him in the Hall of Pretty Good instead of the Hall of the Great.
You put him in the Hall of Pretty Good. I mean, I don't know how many career wins he's got. Not that really matters, but you got the perfect game. You have the no hitter. Not many guys have those, and he's got one of each. And so, he's got he helped win a World Series for the White Sox. He's really nice career.
Burley has.
That was the guy the Twins should have thrown a bunch of money at.
I wanted them to go after him when he was leaving the White Sox. Burley has 194 wins, 143 losses, 2,949 innings pitched.
3.81 ERA. So there you go.
Yeah, good player.
Are you excited about the All-Star game?
I am, because I live up here.
Are you going to that? Are you going to sneak in there and maybe check out the Futures game, all that stuff?
I'm probably not going to go to the All-Star game because that's pointless. But yeah, I might check out Futures game or something. They have so much crap going on during that whole weekend it's the middle of the week, but yeah, I might go check some of that out. Home run. I was looking at home run contest tickets, and those are like going for. They're expensive in my ticket book.
More than $100.
I saw a couple.
I'm not surprised.
Charlie Hildebrand is the home run derby more of a draw for you than the actual game?
I think so. I think there was a point in time the game was better. It's still the best All-Star game. I don't care about hockey, but of the other three major ones, I would say it still got the best one because they at least, sort of care about it. But I would agree that the home run derby, at least to me, is more entertaining because it's fun to watch. I'm trying to remember who did it, but like Bobby Abreu hitting 20 and Josh Hamilton hitting 25 and then not even winning, which was ironic. But
it seems to me
I forgot. Who won that year?
It was the concussed guy.
I remember it was Yankee Stadium. I don't remember who won. Who won the damn thing?
I don't know.
My favorite Canadian.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. Somebody from Canada.
Some guy that smokes weed in Colorado.
Probably. It seems to me that the Derby would be a lot more interesting in person than, with Chris Berman doing the play-by-play on ESPN.
Yeah, home run Derby tickets on StubHub are going from $190.
Okay.
So I will not be going to the home run Derby.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I'll pass.
The Futures game's only $15.
I can go to that.
I would gladly go to the Futures game.
Yep.
How about the softball game?
Celebrity softball game?
I want to see Peterson tear another ACL.
If the home run derby starts at 190, what's the actual All-Star game cost then?
Buy one, get one free.
Nice.
Speaking of baseball, if you hold a tournament of baseball of some sorts and nobody goes, did it really happen?
No.
No. Okay.
What is that an allusion to?
Some Legion tournament I saw somewhere. I don't know.
Some Legion tournament?
Yeah.
All right.
I know.
Okay.
That Summer League tournament ad, just stunning to see the 5 teams in the conference, and the best team for the second straight year doesn't get in because Omaha can't.
Yep.
And somehow they're still eligible. I guess the rule is you have to have 5 teams to get the NCAA bid, but only 4 are actually eligible to make the tournament. So I really don't know how they get an automatic bid if you have 4 teams qualify.
Were any of those teams were any of the teams above 500?
If I remember right, I think SDSU finished 500 exactly in league play, and that was the only other than Omaha, but yeah.
I don't think anybody had an above 500 regular season, and if there were a couple that are right around 500, but yeah, good for the Bison, I guess. Not a good conference for baseball, but there you go. Were you Kriens? Are you there, Mister?
Well, there's 2 of them.
No, there's 2 of you.
Yeah, they get to host next year too, don't they? Because they're the 1 seed, and they get to host next year.
You bet.
Boy.
Good. Just let Omaha have it, and have it at wherever they play the College World Series.
Rosenblatt.
Yeah, just have it there.
Have it at Augustana's football stadium. How about that?
Yeah, I'm for that. Have it in the event center.
What about 75 feet down the left field line?
Yeah. Sure.
Just make it like 50 feet tall.
There was 1 home run hit in the tournament, so it's
like
not...
at Yankee State. Played at Yankee Stadium almost.
Yeah.
Bandbox.
Do it. Some NBA now. We'll put the baseball on the shelf now. Cleveland Cavaliers, 3rd time in 4 years, they win the draft lottery. They got the luck. They win it again. Your initial reaction when Cleveland? Did you think when Cleveland's in the top 3, you're like, yeah, they're going to get it? And thoughts on Cleveland getting it again?
I know there was that usual the draft lottery is rigged, the draft lottery is rigged, blah blah. There was that whole thing right after, and Cleveland getting the first pick to me is proof that it's not rigged.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just absurd. It's absurd. 3 out of 4 years, there has got to be some sort of rule where you can't get the number 1 pick 3 out of 4 years.
Unless you actually have the worst record, then I'd be more okay with it. But
sure.
Yeah, I mean the things I took, 1, like you said, it certainly wasn't rigged this year. If it was, you'd give it to Boston or Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I could maybe be slightly persuaded that maybe 15 or 20 years ago it might have been. Certainly not this year, though. And if this is their 3rd time in 4 years, Cleveland should end up being fantastic in basketball in the near future, and we'll just see if they can find a way to mess that up again.
It sounds like Joel Embiid is the guy. I never heard of Joel Embiid until January.
Well, I think Embiid's a real project, and I don't know that the basketball he had. I don't know. I would much prefer
Jabari Parker.
Parker is the most NBA ready according to pretty much everyone. That Australian point guard is apparently really good. I mean, it's a really good draft. But I don't. If you're Cleveland, I don't know. I mean, where Kevin Love goes, I have absolutely no idea. But if you're Cleveland, would you try getting Love in some kind of number one? It's hard for me to see that. But if you're Minnesota, I feel like you have to try with anybody who's in the top 5.
They'll try, but Kevin Love's he wants to win basically, and that's not happening in Minnesota, obviously.
Yeah.
The big talk up here on K-Fan every day, people are like, "Oh, they gotta try and trade with Golden State." They're like, he'd go out and play in Golden State. It's like, I don't know if Golden State wants to give up Klay Thompson or David Lee. They might give up David Lee, but you're not gonna get Steph Curry for Kevin Love or anything like that. And
if only the Timberwolves had a chance to draft Curry when he came out. I know he was taken off the board way before Minnesota picked. I know he was not available, and I know if he would have been available, I know they would have picked him. But
who'd they take that year?
Syracuse point guard Johnny Flynn, who
I forgot about that guy.
I believe we're still counting the All-Star games up for him. We've lost track of so many of them. So
Mr. Rubio.
Yeah, I mean, if one point guard's good, two's got to be better.
David Kahn. He's derailed the Timberwolves from success for a while here, I think.
I asked the group last week if Kevin Love ever plays again for the Timberwolves, plays another game. I say yes. I say he at least goes to the All-Star break because they're not smart enough to trade a guy when he tells them, I'm not going to play for you after this year, so you may as well trade me or you're not going to get anything. So they say, no, we'll wait until after the draft. We don't want the draft picks. We don't want any of that.
I would say no to that he'll be gone, but this is the same team that said, well, we'll give you a 3-year deal, but 5? No, we're not going to do that. So I don't know. They don't have a coach right now. It's
Dave Yeager. There you go.
Dave Yeager.
He's probably going to be
boy.
Yeah, which I think is a good hire. But a team without Kevin Love is not going to be good.
No.
I don't know what they do. I don't know. If you want to deal Love, but then get a couple of veterans that can at least make you not the worst team in the league in the Western Conference, I guess go ahead. Or you can say, let's go back to step 1, and we'll find a way to get into the top 5 and take one of those top shelf guys and just say, all right, here we go. See where we're at in 3 years. Which I don't even know if they can afford to do that, because we're talking about 10 years of not being in the postseason and not really being even close, except for, they were semi-close this year. So.
Hey, I went to a game, end of the season. I was at Corey Brewer's 51-point game.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
See, a big game to go to.
Kevin Love wasn't playing. Kevin Love wasn't playing. Corey Brewer in the spotlight just went off.
Yeah, that was $50 for that ticket stub right now.
Corey Brewer 51-point game is like my 4th favorite thing that's happened in the NBA season.
So, Coob, in other words, you're basically just saying that the only thing holding back Brewer is Kevin Love's minutes, and that once he's gone, he's going to shine.
He's going to shine like a disco ball. Boy, he's going to be good.
Drop it like it's hot back in his Florida days.
There you go. If I would have told you 10 years ago that Dave Yeager, he'd be the coach of the Timberwolves while he's in Sioux Falls here, you would have thought, yeah, that's likely, or not.
I don't know. Got a good reputation.
If I tell you that 10 years from now you'll be the coach of Minnesota Timberwolves, what would you say?
I'd say maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But you're born and bred New Orleans Hornets, so
that's true.
I'd I'd at least play my rookies.
See?
Unlike Mr. Adelman.
Yeah.
Shabazz.
We've been talking about player coaches. Amin can be the first ever writer coach, which would be the
Nice.
most interesting thing ever.
Man, that'd be so crazy. I mean, the conflict of interest would be
Enormous, but it'd be fun to see.
it would be pretty awesome. It would be pretty awesome.
Be like, wow, this coach has done really well this year, and even though the team struggled, I think he deserves a large raise. Says the most trusted man in the area.
I am doing a good job. And like that's all I'm saying.
Impress us with a 1-minute monologue of a writer coach press conference.
Very good.
Any questions of the group? Yes, Mr. Amin. Yeah, Coach Amin. Talk about something.
I would not say that. I would not start a question with talk about.
How?
Start talking.
I mean, it could be fun, though. It could be, hey, talk about how well Brewer shot today. To be like, well, as you know, we've seen Brewer go through his ups and downs this year. You've been in those back rooms with us, seeing how the meat gets made. And make all sorts of weird cliches like that.
I think, yeah, pretty soon, like, the post-game pressers are just going to be reporters just going, yeah, just talk. What do you think? Just go.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I feel like they put like questions in a hat and they just pull from the hat. So, talk about Pekovic. What did he do?
With the first question of the 2014 opening game press conference goes to.
Yes. Very good.
Nice. A stat that I saw last night, which I was stunned. Maya Moore, noted great basketball player. First WNBA player ever to score 30 points or more in 4 straight games. Stunned. The league's been...
You're stunned?
It's been like, not that she did it, but that it had not happened before. This league's almost been around for 20 years, and this has never happened. 30 points, 4 games in a row. I am stunned. I'm stunned. Is anybody else as stunned as I am, or am I just a dumbass?
I can't tell if you're feigning your stunnedness or
no,
not.
I'm actually stunned. I can't believe that.
I'm stunned, too.
Superhero swoops.
Rebecca
Lisa
Lowe.
Leslie.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'd never heard this till right now, and certainly I don't follow the WNBA at all. But
you don't now. You used to, but you don't anymore.
There have been some players that have been good and have scored points, though. I'm surprised this has never happened.
How has Gino Auriemma not scored 10 points in a WNBA game?
Because Kevin loves taking away all of his minutes. That's why.
God damn. No, Kriens, like, for real, that is pretty surprising. I mean, we're talking 4 games.
So the old record was 3.
Old record was 3. Wow.
They've got a 3-point line in the WNBA, right?
And they do have a shot clock, and they do have hoops. So
do they play 4 12-minute quarters?
I believe it's they play.
So 3 was the record, and people wonder why nobody watches it. I guess we've got our answer. If I want to watch a low-scoring, boring game between people who can't shoot, I can watch the Big Ten play every week during the fall.
Or you can watch the World Cup in a month. Either way.
Or the World Cup.
Thank you.
Drew Harmon, 5-second World Cup preview.
I don't care. I'm not going to. Actually, I will watch.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough.
Can I give my 3-second preview of it?
Yep.
The USA will not win.
All right.
Yeah.
Shane Coop, any thoughts?
They'll lose to.
I'm sad about Landon Donovan not going, but that's about it.
Same with 95% of everyone else, because that's basically the only player they can name who's on the team.
Well, unless you watch them, like me. I'm a soccer guy.
You can be a soccer guy. That's fine.
Football.
You will watch this World Cup. We know David Schottenkirk, Marcus Traxler, big soccer fans. Big. I hate the sport. Mr. Amon and Mr. Hildebrand are with me. We'll do a little faction war here, us three against, I'm assuming, Coob. I'm assuming Coob is more on the soccer fan thing with Traxler here. Is this assumption correct?
Yes.
So the numbers fit 3 against 3. Stacking, he'll be the ref because somebody's got to count the 1, 2, 3. And nobody can do it better than him. So we have like just a major blowout of a show if everybody can get on here at once, and if the servers don't crash for the 15th time. We can have a 3-on-3 battle with Stacking being the moderator and soccer versus no soccer.
Are we going to each make 1 point of why we do or don't like it now?
Yes.
And be really angry and yell and scream about it? Well, I won't yell and scream, but I guess I'll go first. Mine is that I don't really like hockey, and if I wanted to watch soccer, I just watch hockey where they can hit each other and fight each other instead.
I'd say, I mean, there's a few things. The main being, like, look, I get that there's intricacy and there's strategy and there's all that. I understand all that. I don't think it just, to me, doesn't seem to have the complexity that like an NBA game has. I mean, NFL is kind of the most complex game there is now. It might be because I'm so familiar with baseball that I kind of see and like respect the level of strategy that goes on there. When I look at a soccer game, I don't get that impression nearly as strong as I do watching, whatever NBA playoff game is on. That's probably the main thing for me. And so the fact that they never score.
Yeah. Yeah, if soccer games were 14-12, it might be more entertaining to watch.
Yeah. The field's probably too big. Is that about right? Field's too big?
Yeah, maybe agree with you on that one.
Maybe shorten that thing up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again,
maybe this is just from playing like pickup games in high school basketball, like before the season started, to train. You know, like there were always people that sandbagged in basketball, and it makes it so you're not as good at defense on the other end. It's like, why is that against the rule in soccer? Why is offsides a rule? It seems like a worthless rule.
Agreed.
A worthless rule created for third graders because the one third grade kid was better than everyone else. And they said, all these other kids are sad that he's better. Let's make this rule now.
And look, I would go to like an MLS game. I know when I was in Seattle and Portland 6-7 weeks ago, like I looked to see if they were going to be playing. They weren't, but I would go to an MLS game. But here's the thing. The most prestigious soccer is in Europe with the Champions League and whatever else. But at a certain point, I sit down and ask myself, am I really going to care about this soccer match being played in Europe right now? And I never am even close to being like, yeah, let's check this out. It's tough for me. It's tough for me to really invest when it's Real Madrid against whoever.
Yeah. I don't know the history of these teams, so that hurts. I like to know what's going on. If somebody says to me, the Portland Trailblazers, I can say, okay, Portland, they were good in the 90s. They weren't so good recently. Now they're pretty good again. They won some championships in the late 70s. I know the history of the Portland Trailblazers. Real Madrid, I assume they're very good. They've won lots of titles, but that's all I know. So I don't know the history of these other teams, and that hurts.
I can say pretty confidently that yes, I'm ignorant about a good amount of sort of all those other things. But then I actually will watch a soccer game and think to myself, there's not a lot going on here.
And you're a baseball fan?
I mean, I get it. A little bit, philosophically a little hypocritical or contradictory. It's just what's going through my head when I'm watching a soccer game.
I guess for me, I'd call myself a casual soccer fan. Like, I might not, I know enough about the histories where I can kind of, okay, yeah, they're good. They've been crappy. They got relegated or whatever. But, man, when it comes to World Cup, like, for me, it's just kind of almost a community type of thing because the whole world is watching. World Cup's more popular than the Olympics just because the world is a soccer-loving world.
Because all the poor countries have a chance now.
Oh, we're going there.
I should say this. If you like it, that's fine. I'm not trying to take it away from other people. If you enjoy it, that's fine. Doesn't do anything for me, though.
No, I hear you.
Yeah, I mean the fact that
better than LaCrosse, I'll tell you that much. Oh,
for sure. Yeah, I mean the fact that we struggle and oftentimes lose to, the Ghanas of the world. I mean, that's tough. That's tough. When you're talking about a nation that's a few million versus U.S., which is 325 million or whatever, that's kind of a bad sign for me.
Yeah, but you got to factor in all our best athletes are playing football or basketball or baseball or, where in these other countries, their best athletes are playing soccer so they can do damage on the world stage. My take.
Quick question for Coob, since I don't follow national or international soccer. Are either China or India good at soccer?
No.
So the three most populous countries in the world are all terrible at it.
Yeah.
I find that a little surprising. But
what is?
But and Drew brought up a good point. If the U.S. was actually good at it for real, not the hey, watch us, we're good now, and then loses early. If they were for real good, then I might care more and pay some attention to it. But
sure.
Until then, I probably won't.
Right.
Like the fact that Landon Donovan's goal against who was it? Slovenia or whatever in the last World Cup. That being the seminal U.S. soccer moment of the past in our lifetime. For that to be the number one moment, boy, that's not probably very good.
How many ham sandwiches have you had that have been better than that goal?
At least 9.
A number. A number.
A number.
Yeah.
Mr. Koo brought up LaCrosse. And gentlemen, the North Dakota State Bison, they've pulled another coup off. The semifinals of the lacrosse championships. Duke versus Denver. As we all know, the Pioneers, a Summit League member. And therefore that means big buys for North Dakota State football recruiting. Drew Almond, I hear they've already signed a couple blue chippers for the 2017 class, and that's impressive because it's 2014 right now.
Well, they've just committed. You can't sign until February of 2017.
No,
but it's a solid verbal.
Enough, 5 verbals via Twitter. Just great exposure. Great exposure for the Missouri Valley, and of course, when you say Missouri Valley, you think Bison football. So there you go. Just another, just another advantage. So they can thank the Denver Pioneer lacrosse squad for that one.
Could the Sherman Antitrust Act be used to break up the monopoly that is North Dakota State athletics?
It's going to cost you some money, but I'd be willing to call the firm. See what they got.
It's interesting.
It's amazing that they can get that many people to go to North Dakota.
It's
I guess it's all that Boone oil town stuff.
Yeah.
Get paid $28 an hour to work at a fast food place.
The Metrodome piss troughs are for sale. Are you interested in a Metrodome piss trough for the right price?
When I saw the auction link, whatever, I mean, I literally started to feel a little bit sick. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding at all. I just thought I just got this bad taste in my mouth and just disgusting. Just disgusting. Those should have been completely taken to a
It's been the first
junkyard
thing
and
blown up in the stadium.
yeah, and turned into scrap metal. Instead, they're up for auction.
I think it's just because
How
there's
do you
so
buy that?
Is it so some Minneapolis or St. Paul bar can buy it and put it above their TVs?
Well, funny story.
Got here.
I was at Cowboy Jack's last weekend with a bachelor party, and they put in like a little 2-row, like 6 Metrodome seats, so you can sit there and watch a TV in a Metrodome seat. That was pretty cool.
Tremendous.
But I would not want to. I would not
Did
want
they have a
to.
trough in front of that in case you had to go to the bathroom?
No.
They might buy one now.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. I have a friend who bought a Metrodome seat. They were cheap. I know it was for like $70 or something. So.
How much are the Joe Mauer game-used catheters?
What?
It demands a high price from the ladies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good. I'll give credit to Marcus Draxler here because he got the picture of the Bud Grant auction near Minneapolis.
Garage sale.
Yeah, the garage sale, and call me a fool, but I think Drew Ammon's brother, Frank Ammon, right there in the flesh. We'll put the picture on the Facebook probably
Road
after the
Larry
show's done.
Draxler.
Frank
Is
how
that not you? 'Cause that is you. That looked just like you.
It did, didn't it? And looking awfully shifty, and like I'm stealing Bud Grant's shit. Yeah, no, that was really funny. My brother's name is Brett. It's not Frank. But yeah, good spot by Traxler.
Did you? I mean, if I was closer to that, I probably would have looked at that.
If I would have been working, I would have been there.
I don't know what he had. Some memorabilia, some duck decoys, some fishing rods. Probably I don't know if I would have bought anything, but rummage through his stuff. That I would have drove an hour to see that.
They said it's like the 10th garage sale he's had over the years, or something like that.
Oh, so all the good stuff's gone already then?
That's right. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you still drive an hour for it now, Kriens?
Well, it was I think this is his last one. He's 87. I think he said this was his last one.
Blowout.
The big blowout sale.
Yeah. He saved the best for last. Probably.
A great cup trophy that got sold. So I would have. I think it was like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or something like that, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, something like that. So I would have been interesting to go to, but I look forward to the Mike Tice garage sale next year. That'll be fun. I look forward to his crutches and his knee
tickets on sale.
Yes, he's gonna have the Super Bowl tickets on sale. He's going to have the crutch and the knee brace from the 05 season. That's going to be on sale. So,
scheduled to start at 5, doesn't start until 5:15.
Yes.
A selection of pencils.
I was going to say a really sharp number 2 pencil with a couple of shoe marks on it. Yeah. Excellent.
I'll have my bid, and it'll be late. They'll say, hey, I'm number 25 on the bid, and it'll actually go to number 35.
Yep.
It'll be
Very
late
good.
getting my bid in. And I'll still end up with Kevin Williams, so it'll be fine.
Your guys' Mike Tice bits are strong. Very good.
Good.
Very good.
Little did any of us know that we had a wheelhouse for that, but it turns out we do.
We do. Liam Hendriks had a good start. That never happened. So talk about, if you would, Liam Hendriks pitching and pitching well.
Okay, all right. So I looked at kind of the highlights of his first outing, and it looked like the same guy. I mean, the thing with Hendriks is, yeah, he's a good controlled pitcher, but it's when he throws strikes, he doesn't throw good strikes, and by that I mean all of this stuff is kind of right in the hitter's zone. and it looked like he was getting away with a couple of fastballs that were up that they swung under. Oakland did, and but nevertheless, 6 innings almost, 1 run. He didn't look terrible. Now he's probably not some even back end of the rotation guy. He's probably going to be more of a long reliever. I could see him being a decent long reliever, but it was an encouraging first start. All said and done.
Good. Did we talk about the Josh Beckett no-hitter, or was I gone?
I mean, a little bit. It was.
I think
in the way early going, it was pretty dicey all around.
Yeah. Almost 130 pitches. I enjoy that. I'm of the belief 100 pitches, that's not enough. It all comes down to the individual pitcher, and if you're Phil Hughes and you cannot physically throw 90 pitches, which appears that he cannot physically throw 90 pitches, or go more than 6-7 innings, that's on him. That's fine. But if you're this guy, you got the no-hitter, you throw 130 pitches, that's nice. To Heron for the Braves threw 125 some pitches. Enjoyed that. I enjoyed guys throwing a lot of pitches.
We'll see what happens to Beckett here now. I mean, we've seen before where guys stretch out when they get their perfect games, their no-hitters, and then kind of struggle for a little bit after that. Our poor Johan Santana is probably the most recent classic example of that. And Beckett's had some injury stuff before, but no, I'm fine with putting you out there if you got something historic on the line. So, but if we're talking about some May 2nd start, and you're up maybe 5-1 or something, and I think we can give you a break at around the 100 pitch mark. I think that's fine. I think that's smart. Because they play a lot of games, a couple hundred of them every year.
They pitch, on the high end, they pitch 35 starts.
35 starts? That's a lot of starts. That's a lot of starts to be throwing 125 per. This is the way it's probably going to keep going as far as being conservative with what you do with your pitchers, particularly if they're under 27.
I go to Charlie Hildebrand for my no-hitter stats. Charlie Hildebrand, what's the impressive stat out of this game?
It is the Dodgers' 21st no-hitter as a team, which is the most in MLB history.
Wow.
Dang.
I suppose with
actually, this isn't a stat. This is just a little tidbit for Kriens. When you cut out somewhere between the 1st and the 8th time, it kicked you out. Drew and I were joking that I said that you would have claimed you would have been at the stadium yelling that they needed to pull Beckett after the 8th inning. Got to rest that shoulder. You don't want to get those extra pitches for something. Stretch run.
You want to ask him to throw 15 extra pitches? 15 of them, Drew. 15!
Hey, what, you think these guys are athletes? I mean, that's a lot of work.
You may as well smoke a pack a day for 10 years rather than throw 15 more pitches. Holy hell.
Yeah. I mean, not every pitch is equal, but as far as,
Like, if you're going along like Mr. John Danks yesterday for the White Sox, you've given up 3 hits, 8 innings, 104 pitches. You are just cruising. And it's a 3-0 game versus the Yankees. They haven't hit anything off you all game long. You put in your closer who's not Lindstrom. He's hurt, so your second-string closer, so to speak. And he gives up 3 runs in the 9th. They force extra innings. They lose 4-3 in the 10th. That's the perfect situation where every time the Twins pull the starter in the 8th and they have a lead, I hope they blow it so they can say, see, they should have left him in. No reason to take him out after 100 pitches, especially if you've got a shutout going, especially if they've gotten like 3 or 4 hits all game and they're not touching this guy. I want him to go out there an extra 10 or 15 pitches, I think, is more than enough to end the game. And
Yeah, there's some subjectivity with this whole thing. I mean, within the game itself, you look at, well, has he had some runners on base and had some kind of high intensity at bats where you might, ramp up your level of exertion for 12 pitches to get out of a jam or things like that. There's things that go on that you have to consider within the game itself. I'm not saying hard and fast. You're at 100 pitches. It's the 8th inning. Boom, giving you the hook. I think generally that's a decent idea. If it's a 1-0 game or 2-1 game, I say throw you out there. But I mean, again, I think this is the way that the game's going to head with these 8-9 guys in the bullpen. This is what it's going to be, and with all the injuries, this is what you're looking at.
And the good thing is the pitch count has limited the injuries because I don't know, maybe I heard this wrong, but we're at an all-time low for Tommy Johns. There's nobody getting the Tommy John surgery. I don't know if you've heard this. Or maybe it's the opposite, where everybody's getting the Tommy John and the pitch counts aren't really up at all.
And you know what? There are so many myths about what the results of Tommy John. I keep hearing that. I hear this all the time. Well, pitchers get Tommy John and they come back and they're better, and they really are not better. You can look at maybe Adam Wainwright as being a guy who came back and was probably better than before, but it is so much the other way, where guys come back and they're not as sharp, they don't throw as hard, their control isn't quite as good. They're just that slight amount not quite as good as they were before. I would even say that Strasburg, after the surgery, not quite as otherworldly dominant. So that's one myth. So you don't want to get Tommy John surgery. You would really rather not. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of what some other myths are. I know because there's been so much written about it in the past 3 months. I'm just saying it should be avoided. This whole idea of, well, if you have it when you're 22 or whatever, that's not a big deal. It probably is better for you in the long run. That's not true at all.
We'll wrap up this 68th edition of the Sports Lounge here. This coming courtesy of David Schottenkirk. Former Minnesota Viking offensive tackle Bryant McKinnie, who last played for Hildebrand's Dolphins last season.
That raging success of an offensive line last year.
He has settled his outstanding strip club debt. He was being sued by the owners of a couple, not one, more than one, a couple of Miami strip clubs. They were looking for payment on 4,000 lap dances. The sides agreed to a payment of $150,000.
Wow, I was thinking it'd be like 80,000. Those are expensive ones.
Are you surprised?
I don't know why he just didn't get hookers. I think that would have been cheaper.
Are you surprised more at the number of lap dances or the amount of money?
The number of lap dances.
I mean, if 4,000, like, even over a 4-year span, you're talking multiple a day.
For many days.
Yeah, for several days.
You're talking like 10 a day for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're both surprising to me. I'd have to say the number's more surprising than the money. I don't know who our resident strip club expert is. I would assume it's got to be Schottenkirk. I mean,
yeah.
So I guess I don't know what the kind. I mean, I would think that in general, I don't even. It's tough to even say for like a standard guy. I would imagine the standard guy is less than 10 a year though, let alone 10 a day.
It comes out to
the standard guy would be 0 a year.
I mean, I get that, he probably had his entourage in, and was like, all on me, or whatever, but regardless, it's just like, No.
Do you think it's like booze at a bar that you can just be like, hey, round for everybody, let's go?
Yeah. Yeah.
We want
Everybody's
for the
getting
whole
booed.
club.
It comes out to $37.50 per dance, if those numbers are indeed correct.
All right.
So that's, I don't know, maybe it's like the Sam's Club, you buy in bulk.
And I was going to say, I don't know. I would assume if you're buying them all at once like that the clubs would probably be like, let's just get something. So it probably, face value should be even more than that, would be my initial assumption. But
I
I'm
imagine
strictly guessing.
I imagine there's probably like a buy 9, get the 10th one free.
Punch card?
You probably had a punch card.
I think that's where the punch card originated, was the stripping industry.
Yeah. It's convenient, really.
It's true. I think it came out of the Ming Dynasty, if my Chinese history serves me correctly.
You minored in Asian.
Paid for the Great Wall. That's how they paid for the
Nice.
Great Wall.
Nice. Asian economics expert, Chuck Hildebrand right here.
And people say the price of chi in China is not relevant. That's how we prove that it is.
Another myth. Another baseball myth.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to wrap the show up with?
I would like to
Anything we
give a
missed?
shout out.
Okay.
I would like to give a shout out to Pat Neshek, who is bossing for the St. Louis Cardinals. I think he's got something like 23 strikeouts in 20 innings or 21 innings, something like that.
Yes.
Sub-1 ERA. So Neshek was always my boy on the Twins, and it's good to see him doing well.
Yeah, I'm happy for him as well. If you have a funky delivery like Neshek does, you can play in the league for 12 years, and that's what he's looking like it's going to happen. So, good. Where is he from again? I know he's in the Minneapolis area.
I'm not
2 doors down
sure.
from
I think
Bud
it's-
Grant.
No, I think he's from Wisconsin, actually.
Oh, Wisconsin. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Good for that guy.
Madison, Wisconsin. High
Oh, he
school, Brooklyn Park. There you
Yep. Park Center.
go. Park Center.
And he's a Butler
Born-
Bulldog.
Born and bred. There you go. So, any big Memorial Day plans for Monday, or today, or yesterday?
No.
I got drunk by myself last night, so that's
There you go.
Yep.
those were my big plans.
And
I got nothing other than those high price deals I'm closing.
yeah, give us one more update here in the Mesquite Barbecue Ranch barbecue sauce from Brentford, South Dakota.
They offered us a 6-figure deal. I said, we don't get out of the bed for anything under 7 figures. They said, you've got to be joking. And I said, this isn't even worth my time. And then I said, piss off, with a very poor British accent. I don't think they got it. So we're playing hardball.
Did you call him a wanker?
That's what I do on counter offers. That's coming later.
Good British slang for you. Have you thought about this? French dressing, ranch dressing together. French dressing.
French dressing.
We consider that.
That sounds disgusting.
It sounds like it'd be a great competitor for barbecue sauce. I think we can. I think we got ourselves an industry here.
Just something to consider. Just something to consider.
Much like Breaking
with-
Bad.
It it jumps in on the 2 key demographics: the French, who love fine food, and also all the people who own ranches in the South and in the Western United States, who are very much in that demographic that is not the same as French people, and we can get both of them and combine them.
Yeah, that's where the ranch dressing is made on all those
It will
ranches.
be. You will see painters in France with their cigarettes, wearing cowboy hats and cowboy boots now. Thanks to ranch
That's quite the
dressing.
niche. That's quite the niche.
Love it.
Similar to Breaking Bad, I assume there's a big lab to make the sauce.
Yep.
Underground lab.
Underneath the laundromat. Yep.
Very good.
All righty. For Shane Koob near Minneapolis, a good addition to the program. Hope that he can join again sometime soon. For Frank Amon, looking for duck decoys. And for Charlie Hildebrand, the barbecue master. I'm Travis Kriens. That'll do it for this edition of the Sports Lounge.